The U.S. taking control of Greenland.
So what are we talking about? An acquisition of Greenland? Are you going to pay for it?
We're talking about it. It's really being negotiated now, the details of it, but essentially it's total access. It's there's no end. There's no time limit. We're not doing a 99 or a 10-year or anything else, you know, the famous 99-year deals that you hear about, because countries can't do it for that. Countries go on longer. And so I think it's going to be something that's very well, already it's being reviewed very well. Well, I noticed the stock market went up very substantially after we announced it. But the details are being negotiated now. It'll be very good.
So, because the GDP of Greenland is like $3.3 billion, but people are valuing Greenland of between $50 billion and almost $1 trillion. So what are you willing to pay for Greenland?
Well, I'm not going to have to pay anything. We're going to have total access to Greenland. We're going to have all military access that we want. We're going to be able to put what we need on Greenland because we want it. We're talking about national security and international security. So we're going to not have to pay anything other than the fact that we are building the Golden Dome. And the Golden Dome is going to be something that's going to be very amazing. It'll be Israel times probably 100. And we need it. I think we need it. And it's all going to be made in the United States.
And I'm back with the panel, Lee Carter and John Lonsky. And, you know, John, it sounds like the negotiations are around protecting Greenland. Maybe this is something NATO is going to do collectively, because the president just said he's not going to pay anything for Greenland, but he's going to have total access. Your reaction?
Yeah, I think this agreement strengthens NATO, where the fear was not too long ago that we were
That's
weakening.
what he said, yeah.
Yeah, in danger of destroying NATO. That's not happening. I think it strengthens our ties with Europe, too. This has to be viewed positively. The most important aspect of this agreement might be that it keeps Russia and China out of Greenland. That's important not only for national security, but also for mineral rights.
Yes, that's absolutely right, because it is rich in oil and gas and minerals. But, Lee, he's got everybody on the run in terms of European leaders here in Davos. They're all trying to get a moment with President Trump. I just sat down with him for 25 minutes, and he went through some of the conversations he's having. He was calm and collected and really on point in terms of what he wants for the United States, and his agenda is wrapped in national security.
You know, I think it's fascinating because there's usually so much news that breaks out of Davos. And there really is a lot of news that is breaking outside of Davos, outside of Donald Trump, but nobody's paying attention to any of it because he is the news. He's at the center of every conversation. It's not just Greenland. It's all across the conversation and what is sort of what is happening globally. I do agree, John. We're seeing a huge strength in strengthening of NATO. I think we're going to see a lot of people walking back their comments about Greenland and saying how scary this was, how bombastic this was of Donald Trump. Never bet against Donald Trump. He knew what he was doing. He had a clear strategy here. And you look at this in the context of everything else that's going on. Look at what's happened with Venezuela, what the impact of that is on China and Russia. Look at that, like what's happening with Greenland, the impact that's going to have on China and Russia. We're really changing world order here and a new philosophy. And he's really laying out America first across the board, and he's not apologizing for it. It's a very different tone, and he's setting the whole stage for Davos.
That's absolutely right. And I think that is really important what you just said. It is a new world order because the Chinese have been trying to create this new world order. And in the prior 4 years under the Biden administration, it did look like there was a new world order run by Asia, run by communist China. But President Trump has taken this back. We talked about Greenland. We talked about Iran. We talked about Venezuela. We talked about the United States with regard to affordability going up into the midterms. I just spoke with the president a few minutes ago, and we also got into what he has been doing in terms of affordability and also free market capitalism. I want you to hear what he said about free market capitalism, so we'll do that coming up. Stay with us.